On a dead world where nothing alive has breathed for 7 months, someone just knocked on Matthew's door. Not scraped, not whispered, knocked. And the scariest part wasn't the sound. It was the fact they said his name. Matthew Ward had stopped keeping track of the days, until the knock reminded him what fear felt like. Not the kind that made your pulse quicken, the kind that froze everything inside you, the kind that whispered, "You're not alone," even when you desperately wished you were. For 7 months, the only sounds he heard on this dead world were the groans of rusting metal and the thin wind dragging dust across empty settlements. He spoke to inanimate objects now, his cracked water filter, the wonky solar display that blinked like a bad mood indicator, even the heater he'd named Old Reliable, despite the fact it betrayed him every other night. But all those things, all those sounds, belonged to him. The knock didn't. 3 sharp strikes. Confident. Measured. Intelligent. Matthew froze mid-step, one hand hovering above the water purifier. He tried to convince himself he imagined it. Maybe the wind kicked a panel loose. Maybe the pressure differentials made something shift. Maybe another knock, harder this time. Nope, definitely not the wind. His heart stuttered, then sprinted. He grabbed the pipe wrench he kept near the door, more for psychological comfort than defense, and crept toward the entrance. There was no window, no camera, nothing but reinforced steel and his bad decisions between him and whatever waited outside. The outpost felt smaller than ever, the air suddenly too thin. "Okay," he whispered to himself. "If it's a raider, I'm dead. If it's a hallucination, I'm crazy. If it's a friendly visitor, then they're on the wrong planet." He pressed his ear to the door. Voices. Low, heavy, not human. 3 of them, maybe 4. His stomach tightened. No one had spoken to him in months, yet these voices sounded like they knew exactly who they were looking for. His name drifted through the door. Clear, deliberate, accented. Matthew Ward. His grip tightened on the wrench. He hesitated only a second before unlocking the door. Survival instinct said, "Don't." Curiosity, stupidity, and loneliness said, "Do it." The door groaned open, dust swirling around his boots. 3 towering huntresses stood there, blue-skinned, armored, and carved from pure menace. They looked like warriors sculpted by a planet that tried to kill them daily. Behind them lay the empty horizon, a wasteland of rust-colored bones. The leader stepped forward, eyes black and unblinking. "We bring what is yours." And then, before he could ask, run, or faint, she placed something on the ground that moved. 3 small bundles. 3 little faces. 3 children. His children, apparently. For a long, breathless moment, Matthew simply stared at the 3 small figures sitting on his dusty floor. They stared back, silent, wide-eyed, unervingly calm. Kids weren't supposed to look calm in situations like this. Kids were supposed to cry or hide or at least ask for snacks. These 3 just watched him like they were evaluating a replacement part and weren't impressed. Matthew swallowed hard. "Okay, I think we skipped some steps here." The Huntress leader stepped inside without waiting for permission. The door shut behind her with a slam that made Matthew's stomach tighten. She wasn't just big. She was built like someone whose hobbies included wrestling gravity itself. The 2 Huntresses flanking her positioned themselves near the walls, spears angled casually, but ready. "I am Ray," the leader announced, "Clanwalker of the Red Dunes. These," she pointed to the children, "are yours." Matthew held up both hands. I don't know how things work where you're from, but usually, becoming a parent involves at least 1 date and a questionable life choice." Ray didn't laugh, not even a microscopic twitch. "Tough crowd. You gave water to a dying woman 4 weeks ago," she said. "By that act, you accepted her burden." Matthew blinked hard. "Water. I gave her water. That's human decency, not custody paperwork." Ray stepped closer, towering over him. "On our world, water given in death binds lives. She named you protector. Her words are law." His mouth went dry. "She didn't even tell me her name. She told us yours." Ray gestured to the smallest girl. "These are Thalen's daughters. Your daughters now. The kids stared at him again, this time with something else in their eyes. Hope? Fear? A silent plea? He couldn't tell. Their expressions were strange, mature in ways no child should be. Matthew rubbed his temples. Why can't your clan take care of them? Ray's jaw tightened. Because the clan wants them dead. The world tilted. Dead. Their children. Children of a traitor. Ray corrected, voice low. Their mother broke oath when she uncovered something forbidden. For this, her bloodline must be erased. Unless... She let the word hang in the air like a blade. Unless an outsider claims them. Matthew shook his head. I'm not qualified to claim anything. I barely keep myself alive. You will keep them alive. Ray leaned in, voice softened by something that might have been respect or warning. Because if you do not, the clan will return. And next time they will not knock. Behind her, the smallest girl whispered, almost too softly to hear. Please, don't let them find us. And that was the moment Matthew realized something terrifying. He wasn't alone anymore. He was responsible. Ray's warning still echoed in the small outpost when a metallic rasp scraped along the exterior wall. Not the wind. Not shifting panels. Something alive. Ray spun toward the sound instantly, her spear snapping into position. The two huntresses flanking her raised theirs as well, moving with a discipline Matthew could only describe as, I really hope they're on my side. Silence held for a beat. Then came the second scrape, slow, deliberate, like someone dragging a blade across metal just to announce they were close enough to do worse. The middle child, dark-haired, maybe 6, tugged at Matthew's sleeve. They found us, she whispered. We have to go. Matthew's throat tightened. Go where? I don't even know your names. Later, Ray barked. Move now. Before he could argue, the door shuddered violently. Once, twice, each impact harder than the last. Dust rained from the ceiling. Matthew stumbled backward, gripping the pipe wrench like a lifeline that did not, in any universe, qualify as a weapon. Ray glanced at him. If they break through, stay behind me. That was already my plan, he said. The door buckled with a third strike, metal warping inward. A voice thundered from outside. By clan law, release the condemned blood. Condemned. Kids. They meant the kids. Ray's expression hardened. Matthew Ward listened carefully. The law cannot take what has been claimed by another. If you claim them, they cannot be executed. Matthew stared at her. Claim them? They're not. They're not mine. They will be killed if you do not, she snapped. The youngest girl stepped forward, tiny hands shaking but her chin raised in impossible courage. Please, she said softly. If they take us, we won't come back. The door split at the hinges. Ray gave no time for doubt. Speak the words, she commanded. Say you take them. Matthew's pulse hammered. He'd made bad choices in his life, but never one this irreversible. Outside, spears scraped the doorway. Inside, 3 frightened children clung to him like he was their last heir. Matthew, Ray shouted. He swallowed hard. I claim them. The words left his mouth before his brain caught up. Instantly, all 3 children pressed their small palms to his arm. Their voices, steady, synchronized, whispered something ancient and chilling. We bind. A shock of warmth rippled through him. The huntresses froze. Outside, the clan warriors stopped hitting the door. Ray whispered, horror and awe mixing in her voice. They invoked the blood cling. Matthew, if they die now, you die with them. The door collapsed. Matthew stood in front of the children anyway, because suddenly, their lives weren't just connected to his. They were his. The door finally gave way, not with the explosive burst Matthew expected, but with a heavy, cracking groan, like it was surrendering. Dust billowed inward. Figures stepped through the haze, their armor marked with the angular symbols Matthew had learned to fear. 12 huntresses, full battle gear, spears angled, eyes locked. Ray planted herself between them and the children, her stance unmovable. He has claimed them, she barked. Stand down. The commander, older, sharper, carved by years Matthew didn't want to imagine, stepped forward. Her voice cut through the room like a blade. Claimed or not, the stain of traitor blood remains. The children die. The human dies with them. Matthew swallowed hard. That's an overreaction, don't you think? No one laughed. Figures. The children pressed closer, each one trembling. Ray's knuckles whitened around her spear, but her eyes flicked toward Matthew, waiting. Meaning, they weren't going to survive a battle here. Not trapped in a tiny outpost with 12 killing machines. Then the youngest girl, barely 5, stepped forward before anyone could stop her. She lifted a small object wrapped in faded cloth and held it up, her arms shaking. The warriors froze. Matthew blinked. What's that? Ray's jaw dropped. Impossible. The commander stared at the object with genuine fear. The room shifted. Breathing changed. Spears lowered just a fraction. The girl unwrapped the cloth. Inside was a metal shard. Rusted, uneven, etched with symbols that looked older than the settlement, older than the clan itself. But beneath the dust, the mark glowed faintly. Not bright, just enough to say, this is not normal. Ray whispered, Thalen's proof. Matthew's pulse hiccuped. Proof of what? The commander backed up a step. Just one, but enough to make every other warrior tense. Ray answered, quiet but fierce. Proof that our world did not die naturally. Proof that the elders knew. Proof that Thalen found the truth and was executed for it. Matthew's mouth went dry. He looked at the children. 3 small survivors holding a secret big enough to topple an empire. The commander's voice dropped to a low, dangerous rumble. Take that relic from them. Ray blocked her path instantly. Touch them, and the blood-cling curse falls on your line for generations. The commander hesitated. Matthew realized something terrifying. This wasn't about him. It never had been. These kids weren't just refugees. They were evidence. Living, breathing, inconvenient evidence. And now the entire clan wanted that evidence erased. For a heartbeat, no one moved. The relic pulsed faintly in the little girl's hands, casting a strange metallic glow across her blue skin. 12 armored warriors, trained to fear nothing, stood frozen by something a child could carry. Ray stepped closer to Matthew, her voice low. If they take that relic, the truth dies with it. With them. With you. So, not a great day for me, Matthew muttered. The youngest girl, SciFi, lifted her chin. Mom said they'd be afraid of it. The commander flinched at the word mom. Maybe guilt. Maybe memory. Maybe the realization that executing Thalen had not ended her influence at all. Matthew exhaled shakily. Look, I get that your clan has very enthusiastic traditions, but maybe we can talk about this before anyone stabs anyone? The commander's expression tightened. Bring the relic, or we end this now. Ray blocked her again. You would defy relic law? Before witnesses? Before the human you have already wronged? A ripple of discomfort passed through the warriors. Doubt, fear, something deeper. The commander turned her gaze to Matthew. You protect them because you do not understand what they carry. Matthew met her stare, surprising himself with his steadiness. Then explain it, because the only thing I understand right now is that those kids trust me. And I'm not letting anyone hurt them. SciFi stepped forward, as if answering a question only she could hear. She pressed the relic into Matthew's palm. Warm. Too warm for metal. Pulsed once, almost like a heartbeat. Suddenly, Ray spoke. It's a record. A memory sigil. Proof the elders allowed the poisoning of our rivers. Proof the world died by their hands. Matthew stared at the relic like it might burn him. And your mother found this? She tried to bring it to the clans, Ray said. They silenced her. The commander's jaw clenched, but she didn't deny it. The room changed then. Warriors who had come to kill the children lowered their weapons entirely. The weight of truth cracked centuries of obedience. For the first time since stepping onto this dead world, Matthew saw something like humanity in their eyes. Ray spoke again, firm. If the clan spills their blood now, it confirms everything she died to expose. The commander exhaled, a long, exhausted sound. Then you leave, all of you, before dawn. If you stay, the elders will hunt you themselves. Matthew looked at the three girls, his girls somehow, and his voice softened. Where do we go? Ray answered, steady and sure. Somewhere the truth can survive. Sephi took Matthew's hand. You won't leave us, right? Matthew squeezed her tiny fingers, heart aching with a strange new certainty. Not a chance, he said. Behind them, the dead world lay silent. Ahead of them, for the first time, something like a future waited. In a world that had already died, Matthew found something worth living for. And somewhere beyond the dunes, the truth waits to be uncovered.